Section 4.4% Problems Applications. If you answered 39 problems correctly on a 42 question test, what percent of the problems did you answer correctly? Okay, so normally we set these up kind of like a part over a whole is equal to percent over 100. There are multiple ways of doing this, but we'll just use the proportions that we learned earlier to solve these problems. So the part over the whole would be 39. The whole amount, like the total, you could also think of this as total, right? Okay. And then we have a percent. Well, we don't know what the percent is, so I'm going to put an X there, but we do know it's over 100. Okay, cool. Cross multiplication, 39 times 100. 39 times 100 is 3,900. And then what we say is 42 times X. 42X. 42X. Okay, now we undo the multiplication of X by 42 by dividing by 42, and whatever we do to one side, we do to the other. Those cancel out. I'm going to flip the order, put X over here on the left side just to make it look a little better. The answer right here should be in the form of a percent, which is something like 92.857 ... which if I wanted to round that to the approximately the first percent, so the ones placed there, to the right of is an 8. So since 8 is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? It's higher, it's 5 or higher. I'm going to round up, which means 2. That 2 that I have underlined right there is going to turn into a 3. So we would say it's approximately 93%. Approximately 93%. Let's try the next one. A casting weighted 141 pound out of the mold. It weighed 132 pound after finishing. What percent of the weight was lost in finishing? Okay, so we do, again, part over a whole. So what was the part here? Now, in this case, it's a little bit different because they're saying what percent was lost. Well, if we started with 141 and then it ended up being 132, the difference of subtraction, is 9. Okay, so they lost 9 pounds. That's the absolute. So we want to know what percent, that absolute loss was 9 pounds. We want to know what the percent loss is. Well, we would put the 9, the part, over the whole of 141. And we don't know the percent, but we know it's going to be over 100. So we would cross multiply 141 times X, and then we would cross multiply 9 times 100. That'll give me 141X is equal to 900. Then we undo the multiplication of X by 141 by dividing by 141. But whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. That gives me X is equal to 6.3829, blah, 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 blah. Way more than you do. Okay. Now, we probably want to round this to the nearest percent, or maybe a tenth of a percent. The problems on my math lab will tell you specifically, but let's see. Let's do a tenth of a percent, make it a little bit different. Okay, to the right of the 0.3, the 3/10, is in 800ths, right? So this place right here. And since it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? Since it's 5 or higher, you're going to round up. So that means the 3 is going to turn into a 4. So this is approximately, that's the squiggle squiggle, approximately 6.4%. Okay. The weight distribution of a vehicle specifies that the front wheels carry 54% of the weight. If a certain vehicle weighs 3,840 pounds, what weight is carried by the front wheels? Okay, so again, part over a whole. So the whole of the vehicle weighs this. Okay, so I'm going to put that over at the bottom. That's the total weight of the vehicle, right? The whole or the total. We have 100 over here. The percent, in this case, we actually know what the percent is in this case, which is 54. What we don't know is the part right there. Okay, so we cross multiply. 100 times X is 100X. And 3,840 times 54. We would say that is 207,360. And we would divide by 100, divide by 100, cancel, cancel. We end up with X is equal to 207.3.6. So it'll be 2,073.6 pounds. Let's see, we want to round it to the nearest pound right there. That's a 3. To the right of it is a 6. We'd round up, so the 3 would turn into a 4. So 2,074 pounds. So it is 2,000 73.6 pounds or 2,074, approximately 2,074 pounds, depending on how or if you want to round it. Let's try the next one. A worker earns $26.50 per hour if she received a 6.5% pay raise. What is the amount of her hourly raise? Okay, cool. So we know the total is this 26.5. We don't know the part. We know that the percent is 6.5, right? 6.5 is 6.5. Let me put that over 100. All right, so we cross multiply. 100x is equal to, and then what we do is we say 6.5 times 26.5. Cross multiply, right? So we keep the 100x, and then what we say is that we end up with 172.25. Okay, then what we do is we divide by 100. We undo the multiplication of x by 100 by dividing by 100. Whatever we do to one side, we do to the other, giving me x is equal to 1.7225. Okay. Now this is in dollars. Normally you're not going to get thousandths or 10,000ths of a dollar, right? So you probably round this to the nearest cent. So if this was to the nearest cent, we have a 2 there. Right next to it, say 2. Okay, so 2 is less than 5. So we would round down, which means we just lose that part. And we would say that's approximately 1.72, $1.72. So it's approximately that. All right. Quality Homes Construction Company orders only a lumber that is at least 65% clear, free of defects, including knots and edges and defects. In order containing 6,580 linear feet, what minimum amount of lumber will be free of defects? All right, so what we have here is we don't have the whole amount, but we do know that the part that we want is the 65,800. And then, whoops, and we know we have 65%. We put that on total and over 100. So we cross multiply. That gives me 65x is equal to, and we end up with 65,800 times 100, which gives me 65x is equal to 6580000. Okay. Then we divide both sides by 65. We undo the multiplication of x by 65 by dividing by 65. And what if we do to one side, we do to the other? And that gives me x is equal to 101,230.769 ... Okay, so we end up with something like that. Now, we're going to order we're going to round up on the linear effects here, right? So, or the linear feet, sorry. So what we do is we look to the right of 0, we have a 7, so that 0 is going to turn into a 1. So we would say that's approximately 101,231 linear feet.